I've come to visit you a few times from time to time when you're here. I don't know if this matters, but for your own information, I have been following H.W.L for quite some time. I don't know if you're familiar with her. Gurumai Muktananda. I've met Muktananda, in fact, before he passed on. I sat at his feet also. So I'm somewhat familiar with some spiritual territory, and I've done a lot of inquiries in my own life. One of my recent inquiries has been into death. I came here last year after I lost my partner very suddenly to suicide, actually, and made some inquiries to you about your feelings on that. That has been followed by my thinking quite a bit about death and finding that I have a real sort of reversal of feelings about death that I had before. I've never been afraid of death myself, but I've often thought about when you see young people, you say, oh, they have so much life in front of them. And when you see old people, it's sort of this pity of, oh, you poor thing, you're going to die. How horrible. And now I sort of look at old people and go, wow, it's really great. You're going to die soon. This is cool. And I look at young people and go, you poor thing, you have this whole life full of this pain and sorrow. It's like, can't wait for you. So it's been this interesting sort of thing that when I take walks in park, you smile at the old people and say, right on, and you kind of look at these little people and sorry. And so it's like, to me, I go, this is going to be kind of a weird question, I think, but it's like, well, so why not just die? And I mean, I'm not considering suicide. It's not that kind of thing. But I've read all these books on death, and it's so wonderful up there. And eternal life, and you're with God, and you get to get rid of this whole illusion that we're discussing all day long. This you and me, and how can we all be one? And let's just do this whole thing, on the planet here. And I go, well, why do we even do? Let's just it's all one up there. Let's just go.
But all in due time.
Well, I just feel like I'm down here kind of biding my time for that. Then it's like, well, life has been a little pointless in the last year in terms of, everything that you had worked for is taken away from you.
You've had great loss.
Yes.
Huge disappointment, huge heartbreak. And life can very much, starts to look very different through the filters of deep grief and heartbreak. But that also passes. And it does really. I know in the midst of deep grief, one of the common aspects of it seems like it's never going to go away. That wrench. And in time, that wrench softens some, and some more colors come back into life. That I wish for you, definitely. No, I too have had great loss. So many of us have had, and more to come. So, for sure, one can see what an amazing friend compassion is in the midst of it all. Because there is so much loss. We lose, especially so many dear ones, so many beloved friends, family. You see others who have lost beloved friends and family. There's so much loss. So, I would say just keep returning to your remembrance of the value you've had on love. It's been a thread throughout your life. And the value you've had on compassion. And just to bring more love and compassion to yourself a little bit, day in and day out. A little bit more gentleness. Just begin slowly to take a little bit of joy in something each day. Could be just one bird flying across the sky, or an amazing flower, or a very young child laughing. Something that may evoke some joy. And then, little by little, remember that you've had once love of joy, even. That there's possibility for a bit more and more to come back in. It helps, though, to have some intention for more joy, even in the midst of it all. So, if you could find a little bit of intention for a bit more joy, that will serve you well. And to remember those who've gone in ways that aren't so dark, but in some of the light times, there's a tendency with these so-called minds to go back to maybe the very end phase. But preceding that end phase, there were many other phases, some filled with great love and life, to allow some of those memories to also come in.
And I would say that despite that horror, I've had a very blessed life, and it has been full of much love and goodness. I'm fortunate to come from a wonderful family.
Oh, beautiful.
And to have even sat at the feet of Muktananda is beyond words. So my life has been blessed. It's not an unblessed life. And one of the things that has come to me from a lot of this is such a deepening of compassion.
Yes.
Before it was surfaced, gee, I'm really sorry that happened, and it was heartfelt. But now it's like, in that year that this has happened, I mean, the whole Columbine thing, the fires in New Mexico right now, the compassion is so deep for people who have lost everything. You just want to run to them and give them everything. It's a deepening that I can't express. And, yesterday when you were talking about suffering and the difference of the suffering of the sort of Maya suffering of the delusions of the world, that she was expressing, which is suffering, but it's mostly self. We kind of get caught up in ourselves. The suffering of this, which is a deepening that takes you somewhere in that suffering. Somewhere in that suffering has come a deepness that I cannot express, and almost a joy. And I have a hard time expressing that also, because people are going like, what? But somewhere in that pain and somewhere in that suffering, it seems to me that joy and pain meet.
Very beautiful. It's so beautiful.
And somewhere it comes out, and you don't, it's not a joy like I'm going to go out and kick up my heels and party. It's, I don't know how to explain it.
No, beautiful.
It's just a deep feeling. Then it just becomes feeling. You don't maybe name it joy and pain, or it's not a named feeling. It's just a very deep feeling. But maybe that's where we all meet. I don't know.
It's such a tender, moving place to meet. Very authentic, very vulnerable. That was scary too in there.
Thank you very much for your words of wisdom. They're very heartfelt.
Same. Thank you very much.